Hello, this is Matt with Board at Work, and this here is the Lenovo M93p Tiny, and you can tell why they name it that. This is tiny. This is really small. This is a fantastic little workstation. I had a great time playing with it, but I figured it's kind of tough to understand exactly how small it is without some point of reference. So that's an Xbox controller, right? And we got Microsoft Surface keyboard, yeah, DVD case, nice and small, Cabbage Patch Kid. So it really is tiny. It lives up to its name. I'm going to plug this thing in. I'm going to record the session and show you some more about it. I really love this thing. I can't wait to show it to you.
Alright, here we are again, and this here is the reviewer's notes that Lenovo gave us, and I thought this would be a perfect way to show you all of the key points. They already put it together for me. So here's a great picture here, 1 golf ball high, 4 golf balls long. That's the whole device. Compact design, that's what they're going for. They're going for really small spaces, and they know that when there are really small spaces, it's a great place for dust to settle and get into your machine. It's usually going to be hot because it's jammed in there. There's not a lot of airflow, and that's really kind of what they decided to put this thing together for. It uses half the power of a normal size tower. It is certified eco-friendly, and that's a big deal these days. Very very appealing to a lot of people. So here are the tests that they've done on it. As you can see, like I just said, low temperature test. I don't know if you're working in cold storage or something like that, and just extremely low temperature places, high temperature places. I don't know, outside maybe, or you're working in somewhere where there's no air conditioning, and it can get pretty hot sometimes. Computers don't like the heat. This computer actually does handle it pretty well. Humidity, I don't know if you run like a greenhouse or something like that, this wouldn't be a bad I don't know, point of sale system or something like that. Says impact test, it can withstand impacts from accidental drops. Don't drop it. That's you're just asking for trouble. So here's a great picture. This is why I did not take it apart. This shows you everything that you need to see. You get your hard drive right here, a nice little fan just like in your laptop. High velocity, it'll kick all the dust that comes in out for the most part. I left this thing turned on for 2 weeks straight. Set the power to just stay on. Maybe not all that eco-friendly of me, but in testing, I wanted to see how much dust built up within the louvers, and it was minimal. It was practically none. I mean, there was really no huge buildup. There was a little bit of dust, but that was about it. So nice little copper heatsink here. There's probably the graphics area there, or the processor. I'm not sure which. Probably the processor, most likely. So one of the downsides, though, I mean, as a big guy with big fat fingers, I would hate to have to replace parts in this, with the exception of maybe this hard drive. That doesn't look too bad. It looks like it's like 1 screw. Anything else in here, if I had to replace a processor or something, you'd probably have to take the whole darn thing apart. But I mean, all things considered, it doesn't really look. I'd rather take this apart than a laptop. That's for sure. So, not the biggest deal, but not a lot of finger room in there. Here's the eco-friendly Energy Star, certification. So that's always nice. So 4th generation Intel Core processor, that's great. It does go up to an i7 if you need to. You do have options if you want to update it, but it does come with an i5. There is an always-on USB port in the front, which is really kind of a big deal if you think about it. If this is sitting on your computer desk at home, you can plug in a phone or something that's powered off of USB, maybe your Kindle or whatever you got. You can plug it in there. It'll still get a charge even though the computer is off. On the back, there is this always-on keyboard slot. You plug your keyboard in there. Even if the computer is off, your keyboard will be getting power. Uh, you hit Alt P, and it'll turn your computer on. That's pretty cool if this is jammed in a place where you can't really get to. Um, you can turn it on at the keyboard. Pretty awesome. This here is a little add-on that you can get. Uh, it is a optical drive, which means CD-ROM, so that'll pop out the front. They don't have a good picture of the one of the front of it, but you'll notice it does have an input for USB, so that's going to plug it down there. So you're going to take up a USB port on the actual computer, but it does give you two more. It does also give you, the CD-ROM and a serial port and PS2 ports. You don't see them that often, but in a lot of specialty shops um, where they're using equipment for things like surveying and device interfaces, a lot of them still do use serial. You may not see them all that often, but they had some extra real estate here. Why not give you the options? You already got plenty of USB ports, so this is a case here. Just like I was saying before, imagine having to reach around the monitor here to turn this thing on. Power buttons right here. You got that always-on keyboard port. Alt P, turn on your machine. This is a perfect example of when that would be a good thing to have. The front of this thing, power button, pretty standard looking. USB 3, nice blue, the blue port, and then the yellow one is always on. That's for plugging in your phone to get a good charge while your computer is off. Standard microphone, standard headset jack. Here's the back. You got two HD inputs, and you get the VGA. I didn't try plugging all of them in. Right now I'm just plugged into the VGA. And that did it for me. One, two, three USB 3 ports. This one is that always-on keyboard port, and this is a port for the wireless antenna. And if you don't have wireless, you can plug it right into your router, and it'll pick right up on the internet. This is a proprietary power cable port. That's kind of a bummer because if you break it, you got to go buy a new one. You're not just going to salvage one off of an old computer or something like that. But I mean, if you really think about it, if they used the normal size power cable, the input would be about this big, so it would take up a huge amount of real estate. Here's the nuts and bolts here, the text, for those of you who like text. Processor is a Core i5 4570T processor, 2 cores, 4 threads. Like I said earlier, it does support i7 if you want to upgrade. Comes with Windows 7 Pro 64-bit. It does support Windows 8, of course. Everything else we've really kind of gone over already. So Windows itself will tell you it's 5.1 on the Windows Experience Index. That's not the highest that you might find around there, but that's really only the graphics. Everything else is some of it's just a little higher, some